fucking Welcome again to the Mark 2.0. Mark is in Phoenix. I am in Brighton, Ontario, and we have a special show for you today. We are absolutely thrilled to be joined today by the greatest goaltender in the history of the Federal League. I am talking about veteran Quebec actor Yvon Barrette, best known for his role in a movie that came out 45 years ago, 1977, Slapshot, starring Paul Newman. Yvon, welcome to the podcast.
My pleasure, Gordon.
We are going to be all over Slapshot, but Yvon, in reading up about your history, your journey, your life, it's fascinating. I've been listening to some of the interviews you've done over the years, some of them many en français, and I don't think you've done an in-depth interview in English.
Yes, I did a few ones. In English. Yeah,
okay,
I did one last year. It was the pandemic years, so I did a lot of Zoom.
Oh,
even one with Honolulu. The podcast in Honolulu. An American who was doing his he was in the army he was located in Honolulu. He was a hockey fan, so he knew Slapshot very well.
Very good. Well, we'll start off with Slapshot. I mean, it was 46 years ago when you got a phone call asking you if you wanted to play in this movie. Can you take us through that story of how you got the role of Denis Lemieux?
Yes, absolutely. I'm living in Gaspésie, east of Quebec, along St. Lawrence River. I was living there for maybe already 5 years when I received a call in the morning from somebody located in Montreal from Union des Artistes. And she asked me, Yvon, would you like to do a movie with Paul Newman? I said, yes. But that was it. I was doing something and I kept doing it. And I received a call maybe 1 hour later from my friend Donald Pinot, who is a French-Canadian actor with whom I had done 2 movies. And he was in Montreal with George Royal, the director, and Mike Fenton, the casting director. And they were in Montreal because they were looking for a short, squat French-Canadian to portray Denis Lemieux. And they were in Montreal, staying at which hotel? I don't know, anyway.
The Ritz.
They were located in Montreal and they had already auditioned 300 people. And they were unhappy with the people they met. Mike Fenton was a brilliant casting director. He was the one who did One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest. So he was used to take the time to find the good person to do the character he was looking at. And finally, Donald was, he was, am I gonna find the guy they're looking for? And they were, and he went out of the hotel. George Royal was going back to LA the day after, and he thought of me. He said, Yvon, we had done 2 movies together, and he went back to the hotel and he told George Royal and Mike Fenton that he was going to bring them the morning after to look at some parts of the movies we had done together. So they were going to see me. And they saw a part of La Vraie Nature de Bernadette and a part of another movie I did with Jules Carl. And as soon as they saw me, they said, yes, we want to see him. So Donald called me and he said, Yvon, that's very serious. Your plane ticket is at the Montjoli Airport. You have to be at the Ritz-Carlton before 6 o'clock tonight. So I took the plane and made it to the Ritz-Carlton at 5 minutes before 6 and called Mike Fenton at his room, and he said, how did you make it? He was so happy to see that I did made it. So he brought me to a brasserie and we had lunch, but I did not knew at all what was that movie all about. Was it a Western? Was it what? What was it? So I was not hungry at all. So he told me the whole story, starting by, well, the movie starts on you and da 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 da. And he told me the whole story. We went back to his room and I read the script from the cover to the end. And around midnight, I auditioned doing the opening scene. And he was giving me the line. And after we did a few pages of the scenes, he start improvising. And I already had a pretty good idea who was Denis Lemieux. And that was it. A few weeks after, they called me and they said, yes, you're going to be Denis Lemieux. And that was it. And it's still there. That's the crazy thing is it's 45 years ago. And Denis Lemieux is bringing me all around the world. Still, 4 times in Germany. We went in Australia. And everybody knows the lines. That's what's funny. In Australia, I was with Daryl Sittler, who is a star in Canada, and Tiger Williams. But as soon as I entered the arena in Sydney with my Denis Lemieux jersey on, everybody said, yeah! But the good thing, if I don't wear my jersey, nobody knows about me. I'm not starring anything.
Well, we talked before this, we went on and I told Denny, I told Yvon a bit of my backstory, how I lived in Quebec between 2011, 2015. But a lot of the things you're talking about, talk about your career that led up. You talked about, what was the name of the movie? Bernadette?
La vraie nature de Bernadette. I did a few movies with Gilles Carle,
Yes.
a great director. I did a few movies with Claude Fournier, who is a great director too, with Jean-Claude Laure, who died last year, I think. But I moved after Slapshot. I moved in country, and I did some theater in country. But I kept doing movies when they knew me already because I had done a few movies before. But I had to move. I'm the kind of person who follows what life offers him. I don't try to lead my own life. I'm open to move if I have to move, to to try other experiences. And Slapshot is just like a fantastic accident in my life. We shoot that movie in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, and I was a hockey player only for 13 weeks. That's completely crazy. And I was supposed to do my own, to be in the goals all the time, but I was injured just the day before we start shooting. And I was on crutches for 2 weeks.
I read about this.
Yeah, and I was doubled by Ron Dokken, who was the #1 Jets goalie.
Okay.
And he did if we look at it seriously, I'm the only goalie with things at the Hockey Hall of Fame without having any goals against him.
Let me ask you, did when you got hurt, I read that you there was a part of your body that wasn't covered, the pads, you didn't have the protection.
I was missing a part of equipment to protect my knee.
But
and we were on the ice, players, actors, and George Hill asked everybody not to slap shot me from inside the blue line. But Jerry Hauser, want to score, and he slapped at me, and I made the save and fell on the ice, almost crying. And George Hill was on the ice with us. He skated to me and said, "Yvon, are you okay?" I looked at him, almost crying, and I said, "I made the save." So he sent me to the Johnstown Hospital in his limousine with his driver, and I met. They asked the doctor. The doctor was taking care of the Jets players to come and see me in the hospital, and my knee was already twice bigger than usually. And he said, "You have to be on crutches for 2 weeks. And if I see you at the hotel without your crutches, watch out. You'll get my feet in the ass." But I did it in 1 week and a half, and Universal never want me to go back in the goal because 2 things. Once I'm right-handed, and Duncan was left-handed, so it was almost impossible for me to do my own things. That's it. But that's just fantastic to have done this movie and to see what we are able to do with it now. Yeah. The movie was released in 1977.
The thing is,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I talk too much.
No, you're great. Yeah.
Our listeners and our viewers, our listeners and our viewers may not be aware about how special a place Quebec is. It's a province in Canada of about 8, 9, maybe 10 million people, somewhere in that ballpark. And it has its own music industry, its own film industry, its own television industry.
That's the only area in Canada where we speak French from the beginning. It was discovered by French people. Yeah, Champlain was there.
And that the directors of Slapshot and the casting directors had the foresight, because back in 1977, if you looked at who the leading scorers were in the NHL, it was Guy Lafleur, Jacques Lemaire, Denis Potvin, Mike Bossy, Gilbert Perrault. These are all Quebec players.
Absolutely. Quebec players, yeah. Okay, hockey was almost invented in Quebec. That's a Quebec thing. And all the goalies, Montreal Canadian goalies, were shorty people. And my part was inspired by Rogatien Vachon.
Rogie Vachon.
Yeah. And he was a short guy. They are now they all over 6 feet. Yeah, 6. Yes. Anyway.
Now you've gone back to Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And if anyone has not seen the movie Slapshot, you have. This is the most authentic hockey movie and the greatest hockey movie ever made. The one thing is, I read that the F-bomb is dropped 176 times in that movie.
I believe it. Yeah.
But if you grew up around a hockey rink, you hear the F-bomb. This is not polite society. And that's why I think Paul Newman in later years said it was the most fun he ever had on any movie he ever worked on.
Yeah, but okay. Just let me tell you something. Just
go ahead.
A short thing. At the opening, at the premiere in Montreal, it was at the Plaza Alexis Nihon, just by the old forum. The premiere was at 7:30. We were all sitting in the hall. Nancy Dowd was there, Jean Tétrault, Alan Nichols, and there was a show at 5:30. So we were in the hall waiting for people to see if they had fun, if they loved it. And the first guy who came out of the theater, he walked straight to me. He was an Irish guy, maybe 70 years old. And he said, "You're a disgrace for hockey." That was the first reaction I had.
Wow.
And listen, and after that, in Quebec, all professional hockey players were offended by the language. But they had to recognize that it was almost a documentary, and that was so true. You know, they could not take it. You know?
Well,
And from 1977 to 2001, I had no invitation as Denis Lemieux. Almost nobody in Quebec called me to do an appearance or anything. I had to wait 2001 after I'd done a movie with an historical movie with Pierre Falardeau. And my son made a picture on the web, made a page on the web with pictures from the movie I had done, and somebody in LA who became my friend, Ken Blake, saw those pictures, and he sent me a mail asking me, "Were you the goalie Slapshot?" He was a fan since the movie was released. He had a website, Slapshot Fans. And he asked me, I said, yes, I was the goalie. He said, would you mind to sign me some pucks? I said, why? I'm not a collector, you know. He said, because I'm a fan of Slapshot. I said, okay, what do you want me to sign on the pucks? He said, Denis Lemieux, Yvon Barrette. I said, okay, so send me the pucks. And he was working for a coffee company. And he sent me some coffee bags and 6 pucks, and I signed them. And before sending the pucks back, I put a call sheet from the movie in the box. So receiving that call sheet, he was able to be in touch with most of the actors who were in the movie. And doing that, he met Louise and Janet Arthurs, the 2 blonde girls who are following the team every time they see them in the bus. Meeting Louise, he realized that she had multiple sclerosis. And she was in a bad financial situation. So he came back to me and said, Mr. Barrette, would you mind to help me raising money through Slapshot Fans to help Louise Arthurs? I said, sure. I gave him my original script, Newman gave a jersey, and everybody gave something. And for the first time since we made the movie in 1976, we went back one night in Pennsylvania, yeah, and the night after in Johnstown, we were maybe 15 people from the movie, and we signed pictures. And in 2 nights, we raised $25,000 to help Louise, and she was there. It was around the arena in Johnstown and in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. Anyway, and she dropped the puck. She was in her wheelchair dropping the puck, and that was, and I saw for the first time that there was something interesting to do to raise money to help people through that celebrity movie. And since 2001, I do maybe 5 or 6, 7 fundraising a year anywhere. We went 4 times in Germany, and in Germany, in Germany and in Australia, I worked with Kerry Goulet, who is a guy who made his hockey career in Germany, and he is a very, very generous people. He started 2 foundations. One is Shoot for a Cure, to raise money to help people with back problems. That happen very often to hockey players. And the other foundation is Stop Concussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've also done work with, is it breast cancer? I know it's
yeah, I did. Yes, I did it for east of Quebec. Yeah,
so
and I receive at least 2 or 3 letters a week with people who print pictures and ask me to sign them, and they put a $5 bill in the envelope, and I try to do something with it, because it brings me a lot of humanity.
Yeah. Well,
And that's why when you want to talk to me, I don't take 15 minutes before we talk. And that's it.
It was wonderful. I was so thrilled.
And here we are, and we do what you wish to do with me. That's it. That's not more complicated than that would be. And we're all the slapshot guys with whom I do fundraisings. We're all the same. There is no star.
No, not at all.
No, people happy to have done something, who is still there and gives us the opportunity to be generous in a way, at least.
No, the movie, it starred Paul Newman, but really, that movie didn't have a star at all. There are so many iconic, memorable lines from Denis, "Trade me right now," to
everybody has something to do with that movie.
But I want you to explain to our viewers, because the French language is just like English. You have Australian English, British English, Canadian English, New York English. Quebec French is not the same as the French in France, or the French in Haiti, or the French in Belgium.
Okay, let me tell you something funny. Okay,
made Slapshot. Go ahead. Go ahead.
When the movie was released, Nancy Dowd wrote the script. She is the sister of Ned Dowd, who was portraying Ogie Oglethorpe in the movie. And Ned was a brilliant player. He was almost going to do the Chicago Blackhawks. He was going to do the training to to be a part of their team, and he was so badly injured, you know,
Yes.
Yeah.
that he could not make it. And he was aware about what was going to happen with the Jets team. Okay.
Yeah.
He asked Nancy, who was learning how to write script in LA, to come and visit and spend a few times with him in Johnstown, looking at everything. And she spent 3 months with the tape recorders in the locker rooms and and trying to understand what was happening. And she wrote the script. So the script is almost a documentary about one reality, the way hockey was played in Johnstown. I never saw it in Lac Saint-Jean, in Alma.
Right.
We saw fights, but never saw players throwing their stick in the stands. You know, that was completely crazy. When I made it to Johnstown, I was so surprised to see the way the hockey was played there. It's just unbelievable. And when the movie was released, it was offending for the professional players, but it was the way hockey exists for any else on the planet. All the people who played hockey for fun, that's the way it is. That's a game, that's a fun game. And that movie starts with my scene, my opening scene, which is very
Classic.
funny,
Mhm.
very
Well,
funny.
you can see in that opening scene that you are a professional actor, because you already had your backstory, I think, going on in your mind. You hate living in Johnstown or in Charleston, Pennsylvania. You want out of this city. Your allergies are driving you crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You kept sniffing during the
Yeah, and
interview.
you know what? That's opening scene was one take.
Wow.
Wow.
Before, because when I hurt Jim Duncan with my stick,
Yes.
when we rehearse, his leg stayed on the floor, but when we start shooting, his leg went up. So I really hit it on the leg, and
Oh, God.
his face changed completely, and that was it.
Well,
You know.
I wanted to talk to you about the dubbing of the movie into French, because you can watch Slapshot in German.
Okay,
You can watch it
I'll
in
tell.
Japanese.
Okay, I'll tell
But
you.
they dubbed it.
Doubling
Yeah.
was you'll and I'll tell you the story. When they brought Nancy Dowd in Paris to listen to the French version they made, she was you know, that was terrible. My voice was doubled by a Marseillais. There was no
Marseille.
there was no hockey. That those were goulets. There was no pucks. That was, you know, the French words. And
Rondelle.
she said, if I bring that version in Quebec, they're gonna kill me. Simply. And the guy who was with her was he has a business of movie traduction. Okay. And he said, I'm living in Quebec for 15 years. I'm gonna do the traduction. I'm good the translation. And because he was in Quebec for 15 years, Chris de Callis de Tabarnak had no, you know, it was not injurious. That was not bad words for him. That was putain, mais merde, mais alors là, quoi.
Sacre.
C'est ça, he put a lot of them.
Yvon, just to give a little backstory, Yvon just dropped every F-bomb in Quebecois. Hostie, calice de tabarnak. Yeah, these are how in Quebec you swear everything is against the church.
Yeah, absolutely.
and only in Quebec. So if you're
Yes.
going to have a Quebec hockey player come to the bench and saying, what the is going on? He's going to say, Christ tabarnak, qu'est-ce qui se passe, oui? And it's going to be,
C'est ça.
and
That's it.
it was, now I cannot believe, have you ever been invited onto Tout le monde en parle?
No, they don't want to see me.
Why?
You know, I don't know. I don't know why. You know, I don't do a lot of Quebec television. I'm not interested in the way they work on it. I don't listen to much of the series they make in Quebec. I prove we have fantastic actors, but they're
Yes.
doing well. They don't need me. You know, they have enough to do what they need, and I am a small mill owner in Gaspésie. Okay, I have my work here,
Yes.
and I still do movies when people really needs me, not to open a door, but to play a part,
Yeah.
because they know that I want to be anyone. For me, being an actor is being able to live a lot of lives.
Mhm.
That's all. And for true, I'm not a joker.
And you live in the Gaspésie, which
Yes.
is, for those who don't know the Gaspésie, I've toured the Gaspésie twice. It is the most beautiful countryside. And you mentioned you're a mill owner. You make things out of wood. You're an
Yeah. It's a
artisan.
cedar mill.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you making? Shingles, or are you making art?
We make everything. Clipping boards. I don't know. That's why my English is missing. But we do anything we feel like doing with cedar. And I still work physically. We're two owners, and every day I work from 8 to 12, and we cut something like between 1,500 feet to 2,000 feet from 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 wood. We prepare the wood, it dries, and we shape it. We do anything. I'm sorry, my English is not
No,
good
it's
enough.
great.
Translate.
You're sounding
Yes.
perfect.
So
Yeah.
you're Denis Lemieux. You
Yes.
were good enough to start a Hollywood movie with that English. You're good enough for the Mark 2.0, believe me.
Oh, you're great.
I wanted to ask you a question, though, about your early career. I read your bio. It's in Wikipedia. You can read about Yvon Barrette.
Yeah.
And you went to Canada's National School of Theatre, Notre
Yes.
École Nationale de
Yeah.
Théâtre,
Yeah.
for 3 years.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then you left. There was a controversy.
Yes,
Can
there was
you-
controversy because our teachers were French people from Europe, from Paris. And we were doing some classical theater from France, Molière, you know.
Yes.
And we decided, our group, we decided to do our own things. So
Québécois.
Yeah. And I'm still, you know, for me, it's important to bring our realities through the scene. That's it.
You mentioned that when they did the international French translation of Slapshot, that they had an actor from Marseille in the south of France doing being
my own
Denis.
voice. That was completely crazy.
And just to give that some flavor, I want someone to imagine Rocky Balboa and his voice being dubbed with Michael Caine. and talking with a British accent. It would
Wow.
not work.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Slapshot Quebec translation was a revelation. It was the first American movie translated in Quebec,
In-
and especially when it's a translation of the hockey world. They grabbed it. They loved it. Everybody in Quebec knows the lines,
And sometimes the words are better in French than they are in English. And I'm going to give an example because I speak French. So I'm not 100. I speak French the way Yvon speaks English.
Absolutely.
We're well met. And there's a scene in the movie where Dave Killer Carlson has been beaten up and he's bleeding and he's getting stitches. And Paul Newman, Reg Dunlop, is saying to the team, Dave was there. Dave answered the call. And one of the Hanson goes, Dave's a killer. Dave's the man. And the captain of the team says, Dave's a mess. But in French, he doesn't say Dave's a mess. He said, Dave at Magané. And the word Magané is such a better word than mess. Because
Yeah, absolutely.
when you're Magané, you're destroyed.
Yeah, there are a lot of words. French is very interesting in the description of the words. It
Yes.
touches the real point. Yeah.
Look, in English, when we swear, it's F-bomb. I F in this, F in that, F, F, F. That's all we have.
Yeah.
In Quebec, you know, hostie, calice de tabarnak, you can get 3. You can get.
Tassez-vous, tabarnak, je vois plus rien.
You can combination them. You can use them on their own. It's such a more colorful language.
Anyway,
Oh.
that's an international movie.
I have
There
one
is
more-
a translation in every language, and they're all funny.
Well, I have one more question for you before we wrap this up. You're living in, Gaspé, Quebec,
Yeah.
and you've grown up in theater, so you know that Paul Newman. You know who Paul Newman is in 1976.
Oh yeah, that was a privilege for me to
But-
work with him. Yeah, absolutely.
But did you realize, being in the Gaspé, how big a star he was?
Yes, because I'm an actor. See,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I
good
was,
point.
was one of the creator of a theater in New York, a school, a theater school in New York, which is where most of the stars did their learn their way to play theater. So he was,
Okay.
for me, he was an idol a long time before I had to work with him. And we had the chance to be very close because,
right.
listen, before we start shooting, the Jets were playing against Buffalo, I think, in their league, and Newman was unable to go in the stands with the people. Everybody were
Oh, yeah.
jumping on him and
Mhm.
So I was watching the game from the
Press box.
journalist pit upstairs with him, and his wife, Jean Woodward, I bought him a kind of, it looks like a gun. Anyway, we were able to put 10 cans of beers, and it was keeping the beers fresh. It was like that. And between periods, my job was to feel the
Well,
to
you
feel
were
that.
also,
Yeah, and we had so
Yeah.
good scenes together. You know, when we're sitting at a bar and the player comes in, he said, I think it's a fag. I said, no, are you crazy? He has a big cock like a whore. He was unable
Yes.
not to laugh. We had a lot of fun with him. He was the only
And
star,
you
so
were,
we had to, huh? What?
Paul Newman's children were learning French, and you were helping him write letters en
Absolutely, yeah,
français?
yeah. And his daughter was working on the show too, Suzanne. She is the girl at the, when
Okay.
I go to the, what do you call it? Anyway, I go and I ask her, she's working with in pharmacy, what is a drugstore, at the drugstore,
Oh,
and I say,
yeah, okay.
I would like you to come tonight at the show. She,
Come see
does
the-
it hurt? I said no, but this, anyway, I had that scene with her, and she was so nice, and she works as a Newman secretary for the time we did the shoot. Anyway, that's a lot of good memories. I'll tell you one
Oh,
of the best, that that made a big difference in all the shooting. I was, you know, I'm from Quebec. I was worrying about the quality of my work and and I had a drinking problem at the time, so I was at the bar around midnight, and I decided to call Judge Royal at his room at midnight. You don't do that. And
It's not a
so,
career move.
yeah. And he answered the phone. He said, hello, who's there? I say, it's Yvon. Listen, Yvon, I have to be up at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Okay, we'll talk at breakfast. The morning after, at breakfast, when he sees me coming in, he stand up and he walks to me and he said, what do you want to talk about? I say, I'll call you tonight.
Wow.
I'll get you back.
And from that, we became close friends. So yeah, he knew who I was. So he was able, you know, look, there is a scene where I do an epileptic crisis in the locker room. And I was waiting just in front of the locker room all day long, dressed as a goalie, sitting on an actor chair, waiting for them to have done
Yes.
their job. And around, I was there from 8 o'clock in the morning, where we were around 6 o'clock the night,
10 hours.
dressed as a goalie. That's long. That's a long day. And when they did the scene they were shooting and it was all right, he came out and said, okay, Yvon, forget the lines. Do me an epileptic crisis. So I did it. But he was able to ask me those things before, because we were close. And he knew that I was
Good.
going to do the job. That was it. I am that kind of actor. They call me one take Barrette. Anyway,
That was what, how much of the film was written down, Nancy Dowd's words, how much of it was la lecture, and how much of it was improvisation?
no, there were almost no improvisation.
Oh, really?
That was
Okay.
all very well written. And when I made it to Johnstown, I had under my room door the last version of the script that we were gonna read the next morning at 8 o'clock. So I woke up at 6. I read the last version, and I went down and I was sitting in front of Newman, sitting by George Royal and all those guys, and you know, And I had to do the opening. I was opening the script, and
Yeah.
George Hill gave me the line. And as soon as I went through that first scene, everybody applauds. Said, "What's happening?" You know, well, I was not
My
used
arm
to
go up. My arm go up, the game stopped, then it start up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
And just some
Yvon-
English speak do that. You do that, you go to the box, 2 minutes by
English
yourself.
speak, I
what
love
you're
that.
saying. Hey.
What about that scene where you're trying to find out who the owner of the Chiefs is?
Hey? Sorry.
The scene where you explain it, Gordon.
Yeah.
La scène où qui own les Chiefs?
Who owns the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Oh, with Strother Martin. He was fantastic. Strother Martin, we don't talk about it. He is the guy
No,
gave
and what a
the tone
great
of
actor.
the old movie. He was so inspiring. It was a fantastic
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
Anyway, I said, who owns the Chiefs? Owns. I don't care who owns the Chiefs. I go to Florida and I get the money.
I can't stand it here with my allergy.
In Germany, I had to learn that line in German. Instead of who owns the Chiefs, it was Wim gehört the Chief. Gehren. Hey.
Yvon, I can't tell you how much fun it has been reliving
This is great.
all things Slapshot, and also hearing about all the other things you've been doing, you know, Québec me manque, vraiment. J'adore la province du Québec. J'ai hâte de retourner. And for English people, I just said, I miss
Gordon, if you ever come back in Gaspésie, you're invited. Come and visit.
There you go.
absolument 100%. You might regret. I'm thinking of making a trip in August to la ville de Québec.
You won't be
And-
far. It's 5 hours. 5 hours east.
Another 4 or 5 hours down the road to get to Rimouski area, and
Yeah, that's it.
oh, very
You'll
good.
make it.
Yeah.
But Mark, did you have any questions?
No, hey,
you wanted to ask?
this is excellent. You know,
Well,
you're definitely,
Well,
and then
thanks.
you said it best. You know, it's all the actors on Slapshot, but you're one of the most underrated. I mean, you're right there at the beginning. You're in just about all the scenes. So thank you
Yeah,
for coming on, you know?
Yes, I'm the one. A
Oh,
few
to me, we couldn't have
my
done-
partner died, but I'm still there.
It-
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
imagine.
we'll have to, God willing,
What?
God willing, maybe we'll have you back on in 5 years for the 50th
Hell yeah. Why not?
anniversary.
There
I
you
hope
go.
to. I hope to.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching.
Hey,
Be sure to
thank
like
you.
and share this out. Mark 2.0.
My pleasure to do it with you. Nice.
Hey, you were great. And your English is perfect. Come on.
Your English is good.
Yeah.
Just give me
My
half a
English